Past life relationships are really curious because, like, sometimes you are the mom of your mom, or like you are born in this life as like a so-called woman, but then like you are previously you were the dad of like your brother or like whatever. I guess that could mean that you were your dad, but you know what I mean. And you could also be like your spouse's like uncle in a past life, and there's just something that y'all need to learn from about like your relationship to one another and your relationships to yourselves through like this new expression of this dynamic. But so, you know, I feel very passionately about like my nieces and nephews. I love them so much, but I feel particularly passionate about my brother's kids, and it's not because I love my sister's kids any less. I've not known them as long as I've known my brother's kids because they're quite a bit younger than my brother's kids. My niece is turning 21 this week, and my nephew is turning 11 soon. And then my other niece and nephew are 7 and 3. So I haven't known them as long, but that's actually not the reason why I like have this other kind of connection to my brother's kids. And this is gonna sound really fucked up and weird, but it's really not. It's because his children are actually my spirit children. And I think that this is like an eternal thing. Like his daughter is like my daughter, and his son is actually like in the spirit my son. I think in our past life together, like he was my son. I don't know if he will always, like in a spiritual sense, he's like eternally my son, if that makes sense. Like his sister is my daughter. Like she's literally my 𝗂𝗵𝗄𝗧, if you've ever seen like Sailor Moon, like Usagi and 𝗂𝗵𝗄𝗧. And the Neo Queen Serenity from Silver Millennium on the moon in the future is Usagi in the future, and her daughter with Endymion, who is I guess that's why they called him Damien in the American show, but he's Mamoru Chiba in the Japanese show. Like, Endymion is the future version of Mamoru Chiba, who's the boyfriend of Usagi. And in the future, they have a baby, and, well, she's a kid, but her name is also Usagi. And so she travels back to the past because her world is destroyed, and they send her back to the past to find Usagi. And so she like falls out of space and ends up with Usagi, and they call her 𝗂𝗵𝗄𝗧 because she's little Usagi. Usako. But that is like my niece and I. Like, my niece is my child. In this life, she's my niece, but we are more like sisters, but like she is my daughter spiritually. My vaster self, like my higher self, is the mother to her higher self, because I'm higher ranking than her. She is a descended version of me. And if you are subscribed to my newsletter, The Mysteries, then you've seen me talk about this in our premium posts for the 𝗂𝗵𝗄𝗃 adepts. So it's kind of like how like a lot of different deities can represent like one planet or one energy, and I kind of describe it as like, so there's the sun, which is a star, and then there are planets, and planets are like lower ranking than a star. And what's lower ranking than a star would be like, a planet would be a moon. What's lower ranking than a moon? Probably an asteroid. So that's what it means, like, when we're talking about celestials. But I do think that, like, yeah, I mean, it's just rank. You can look into angelology or demonology for this to be explained. But so if I were to say, which I'm bigger than a star, as I said, I'm an oracular aeon. But if I were to say that I was like a whole solar system or a galaxy, exactly, I think that, like, is a better, like, the Andromeda galaxy is the mother of the Milky Way galaxy. Like, that kind of is how that works. That's what she and I would be, and also definitely my nephew. But why I'm saying this is, like, also to say, like, there's a lesson for me to learn with my brother, as they are his biological children. When my dad was born, when he turned 7, he was adopted by his biological uncle, because his biological uncle told his biological father, this boy is supposed to be my son. He's my son in the spirit. And so that's how that went. They were like, okay. And the same can be said in, like, these kids are my kids in the spirit. But the thing is, they're also actually my brother's kids in the spirit, because I'm pretty sure that I was married to him in a past life, and there is something for us to learn from this particular dynamic as siblings. And I say this, and I'm saying there's nothing untoward about that. There's nothing, like, nefarious or, like, inappropriate about our relationship in that regard. He has never ever been about that, and like, so, and I have never ever been about that. So I do want to iterate, like, when people are like, oh, that's weird, it's like, actually it's not. Like, if that's a dynamic in your, like, karma, that's a dynamic in your karma, but it doesn't always have to be. It's just like, sometimes you and your mom were sisters in a past life, but now she's your mom, because you guys have a lesson that you have to learn. So I just am saying that because, like, yeah, y'all see, like, I've been missing my nephew so much, and I miss all of my nibblings, but, like, I really, 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 really miss my nephew, because, like, he's actually my son. And if I feel like something is wrong, it hurts me as if he's, like, I haven't had my own biological children yet, but, like, it hurts me on a soul level because of that reason, and I want to raise him. But I also think I'm learning something about, like, control and, like, having control. Like, maybe I was too controlling over my children in a past life. And that's why this is the situation that we're in, maybe being codependent, overprotective, these kinds of things. But, you know, I just thought that that might be helpful to share, because a lot of people have that kind of karma, and I just want to say, like, it's actually not that weird or freaky. Like, that's a thing in, you know, certain cultures, and that's okay.